Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jai. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That was beautiful. Welcome everybody to the Super Saturday. I guess it's Super Sunday down there. For the Live to Give worldwide global book distribution marathon, where we are going to shock the world by distributing at least 2 million Bhagavad Gitas as a team worldwide. And there's no better way to do that, or at least to become empowered to do that, to hear from those who carry the Shakti of Srila Prabhupada and the Sankirtan movement within their hearts. And tonight we're going to start by welcoming His Holiness Devamrita Swami, my mentor, the Sankirtan General, and inaugurator of so many projects around the world that have become the standard, the gold standard in the world. And then we're going to have some discussion amongst ourselves here in the team from New Zealand and Australia about what's working and what you're looking forward to and what kinds of goals you're setting. Maharaj, just seeing you, my life has come back. It's been a long day, what to speak of last couple of weeks, what to speak of year. But having a vision of you has really turned my life around here. So thank you very, very much for taking your valuable time to come here. Everyone, please welcome His Holiness Devamrita Swami. Vanchakalpatarishya Kripasindhabheva Chatpatitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
First of all, I would like to express how much I miss being at the Sankirtan Chakra by Vaisesika Prabhu's home with Nirakula Devi Dasi. Every year I go there to become energized and to have a global vision of Sankirtan maximized in me. Today I want to speak about organization and ecstasy. Often we think that there is a contradiction between the two. Bhakti is a spontaneous outpouring of the heart. True. Organization, coordination, yeah, a bit of that is necessary, but let's not go overboard with it. But what I want to do is speak to you from Chaitanya Leela and show you how both organization and ecstasy, in fact, the highest bhakti ecstasies, go on together. We're at a very crucial point in humanity's history on this planet. The great technological, military, economic bastions have been brought to their knees by a microbe. This is a great time for flooding the world with Lord Chaitanya's mercy, because intelligent people are thinking, what is real progress? And what are we all about? We thought we had it made. All right, a few world wars, a few economic collapses here and there, but yeah, that's life. But a global pandemic? Yes, it's happened before, early in the 20th century, the so-called Spanish flu, which experts now say infected 1 out of every 3 persons in the world at that time, and killing, now they say, minimum 50 million and could be 100 million. In India alone, 17 million. So yes, the world has seen such global calamities, but human beings forget so easily. Don't think that experience teaches very well. No, it is the sound vibration coming from genuine authorities that makes the difference in human progress. And these books that we're distributing are authorized knowledge. They're sound vibration that can counteract a global pandemic by getting to the root of all difficulties for the conditioned souls. Just like we have a global pandemic now, the Vaishnavas want to counteract that with a book distribution inundation that covers the whole world. This is why now, more than ever before, we need global coordination. Because if there can be a global pandemic, why can't there be a global coordination of book distribution? We want to think big because we're followers of Mahaprabhu. We don't need to ask permission from Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, to swim and splash in the flood of love of Krishna. The order is already there. As you read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, I order every man, woman, child, everyone, distribute. Now let's look at the Gunditja Marjana Leela, the cleansing of the Gunditja Mandir. Mahaprabhu did ask permission. So yes, following in his footsteps, all right, we can ask permission, but the permission has already been given. Wherever you go, whomever you meet, teach the science of Krishna. As Srila Prabhupada would always explain, this is the same instruction as what Lord Krishna gives in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says, Sarvadhaman Parityajya, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, surrender to me. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says the exact same thing. And yes, we should meditate on this point and see the complete similarity. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, wherever you go, whomever you meet, teach the science of Krishna. On my order, you do that. This is surrender to Krishna. So there is our order. We receive the permission. And then what? What did Mahaprabhu do in the Gunditja marginal Leela? He organized. All right, we're going to approach the whole project in this way. There's the inside of the Mandir. There's the outside. There's a place where the boga is offered. There's a place where the boga is stored. They were crews of devotees acting in coordination. And surcharging the whole event was enthusiasm as everyone vibrated the holy names of Krishna. And Mahaprabhu personally took part. I have to confess right now, I'm feeling separation from opportunities for me personally to meet the people face to face with books, because I twisted my ankle and it's giving me difficulty. But I've got to figure out some way, somehow, something. Mahaprabhu personally engaged, and then others followed his example. There were targets set. Yes. How did Mahaprabhu do that? He said, I can tell how much you've cleansed. I can tell how thoroughly you did this by looking at your piles of straw and dust. He didn't just say, okay, Prabhus, do your thing, and what's done is done. Whatever happens, happens. And hey, soon it'll be time for the feast. No, he evaluated everyone's contribution. And of course, whatever he did was much more. And after having everyone cleanse the temple so thoroughly and inspecting what they did, he asked them to do it again. Like sometimes people say, well, how long is this book distribution effort going to go on? One time, okay, 1 decade, isn't it enough? But where in the Bhagavatam do we see that enough Krishna Kathas happened? Enough nectar is poured? No. Just like the sages at Naimisaranya in talking to Sutta Goswami. They say, we never tire of hearing and chanting the glories of Krishna. Those who actually are expert in rasa, they relish at every step. Swadu, swadu, pade, pade. So we're eager for endless opportunities. We never want the flood of book distribution to end. Because the book distribution is the distribution of Krishna Katha. Mahaprabhu had some devotees with water pots, clay pots holding water. And then while that water was being poured in the temple, other devotees, hundreds of them, were waiting to get those pots and take them back to the river and fill them again. sometimes there were things, hiccups.
Krishna.
Someone needs to turn off their microphone. Sometimes there were hiccups, apparently. Devotees with their water pots would collide and the pots would break. So that teaches us that even in executing Mahaprabhu's mission, we have to be a little tolerant sometimes. And from the material point of view, it looks like there's some inefficiency or something doesn't go right. But when you read about this in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you see that still the show goes on, the flood goes on. Not that, what is this? There's been some mismanagement. Some pots are broken. The devotees are doing their best. So yes, in our execution of Mahaprabhu's order, we have to be tolerant. We're not looking for material perfection. We want, of course, to make the best offering as possible. But sometimes because this is a material world, there's, it won't be like the old days, will it? Back in the 70s, I remember. You jump in your van, head out for Sankirtan, and then there's no gas in the tank. No, I'm sure you all are much better organized. And the Gunditja Mandir Leela was completely organized. There was evaluation also. Mahaprabhu, besides analyzing everyone's contribution, would, in a very sweet Vaishnava-like way, be a bit judgmental. If he would see that someone wasn't really laboring as according to their capacity, he would go up to them and say, "Oh, you've done so nicely. Please teach others." And the devotee would get the hint. So, yes, we have our own methods, our own humble methods of inspiring devotees. We're not Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he's showing us how to be sensitive and how to value everyone's contribution and motivate everyone to go a little bit higher. Then you look at Rath Yatra. But don't forget that during the cleansing of the Gunditja Mandir, there was ecstasy flowing all the time amidst the coordination and the organization. Mahaprabhu was crying while he's cleansing the temple, and sometimes he would wash the temple with his own tears. So again, our theme, organization and ecstasy don't cancel each other out. You see that in Chaitanya Leela. And as we go to Rath Yatra, we see the Rath Yatra cart of Lord Jagannath. Mahaprabhu had organized parties, mridanga players, dancers, chanters. And all the while, Mahaprabhu is demonstrating unparalleled bhakti ecstasies. Even when he would leap in the air, he would have 9 persons to be with him, 9 persons supervised by Sup Damodar. The more that we can work together, the more you'll see a force that can far surpass what a global pandemic does. And then we know our life has been successful. We're very thankful to Vaisesika Prabhu for spearheading a global flood. You may have thought it's just poetry when you read in the 7th chapter of the Adi Lila, the universe is already flooded. What do you mean already flooded? The potentiality has already been there. It's up to us to ignite that potentiality. And that way we get some credit. So I appeal to you all to use your intelligence, use your organizational abilities, and you'll see the ecstasy happen according to your according to where you're at. There's no shortage of spontaneous ecstasy in Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. How can there be when Mahaprabhu is the embodiment of ecstasy and pure love? And we're his humble followers through parampara. The other day, the Pope released a book called Let Us Dream, and it had very nice moral instructions. People should be more kind. People should be more forgiving. Let us be inclusive. Let us especially focus on those who are unfortunate. And in this way, the world will be able to receive God's mercy. But while appreciating all of that, of course, we wonder, where is the process for clearing the heart, transforming the heart? That's what the Sankirtan movement is doing. It's not just distributing information. It is working on people's hearts so that they become transformed. It's a process, just like chanting Hare Krishna is a process. The distribution of Krishna's glories is a process that clears the heart from the worst contamination, which is the bodily conception of life. Now, where else are you going to find such direct information that pinpoints this major problem, this greatest problem in the heart? How many temples, mosques, churches, synagogues, yoga schools, meditation schools, mindfulness centers can you go to and immediately get clear instruction that you are not the body and mind, you are spirit soul? Without that basic knowledge, how can there be any peace for the heart? So I was thinking, reading the Pope's good words. Let's be kind. Let's focus on the needs of the poor, the oppressed, those who are forced to migrate. Let us be open. But none of that is going to happen as long as human beings are dominated by bodyism. So what is the way that human society can get over this number one contamination? Religious platitudes are nice. We all agree. But something more is needed. And that's why we, as servants of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, need to rise to the occasion. And what better way to do that is there than letting loose a global inundation? The opposite of a global pandemic is the global Sankirtan movement. And that will get to the root of all human problems, all environmental problems, all economic problems. The heart will actually become cleansed, cleared, and transformed. This is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada, as you know, went through so many austerities and ordeals to give us this literature. We're not thinking, haven't we already distributed so many books? We're thinking, we haven't distributed enough. You can even, if you want to be materially calculating, understand that, okay, there was the 70s, a huge wave of book distribution, but now it's 2020. The population of the world has increased significantly. So even if you think that everyone back in the 70s got a book, which they didn't, you've got millions more persons who are now on the planet. So our work has just begun. And we're so fortunate we can get credit by being the humble servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I thank you all for your kind attention, and I'm honored and blessed to be a part of this holy assembly. And I can't wait. I'm going to figure out a way I can hobble outside. Just let me share something with you. It's not me, it's the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hobbling through Ratha Yatra 2 weeks ago in New Zealand. I met one young man, and I talked to him, and I was feeling the ecstasy of the Ratha Yatra. I put my arm around him, and he was like an MBA graduate. And I told him, this knowledge is the most authorized. It will actually get to the root of your personal crises and the world's crises. So he looked at me very thoughtfully. And I thought that was the end of that. 3 days later, a devotee, Nitai Chandas, who does a book table on the main street in the city, said this young man came up to him and bought a full set of Srimad Bhagavatams on the street. So I could say, well, what's the use? Here I am hobbling on a bad ankle. What can I do? And nothing much will come of my endeavors. I'll talk to this person, but really, maybe I should just go continue in the Ratha Yatra procession. I could have thought like that, but here's an example of how many hands make light work. I tried to contribute in a tiny way, very tiny compared to what you all are doing. And a result happened beyond what I could expect. Someone 3 days later goes seeking out, I want a full set of those books. So just an example of everyone, if everyone does their little bit and tries to do more, inconceivable things happen. So I'm sure that you all have your own extraordinary realizations. Many of you are thinking daily how to increase. And that is transcendental ecstasy. That's thinking about Krishna. The more you meditate on how to increase the flood of Srila Prabhupada's books, the more dear you become to Krishna. I thank you very much. And now we'll hear, I hope, from His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu.
Jai Maharaj. Hare Krishna. That was not only inspirational in a very deep level, but also very instructional at the same time. I like the juxtaposition of the organization and the ecstasy, and especially the way you mentioned that our vision should be huge because it's Lord Chaitanya's power that's spreading the Krishna conscious movement around the world, we can take part in it. That really touched me, and I could see when you were saying that, the way that we could have the same kind of effect the pandemic's having, only in a beneficial way, at least the same influence, the same ubiquity, but only for the good cause of book distribution. And I also liked how you said that this is a new era. I mean, the 70s, we distributed millions of books. The 80s, 90s, books have been going out, but it's a new age. And it reminded me today or yesterday, I heard Dr. Fauci, who probably everyone in the world's heard of by now. He's the head of, I forget which department here, but he's an
infectious diseases.
Thank you. Infectious diseases for 500, please. So he was speaking about the rapidity of the vaccine being produced, and the interviewer was asking him, but isn't this dangerous? It's too fast. You've rushed it, or they've rushed it, the developers. And he said, actually, the reason that it's coming faster this time is because technology has changed. And I was thinking also in relationship with our distribution of books and your commentary on organization, our capabilities have increased to be able to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. We didn't have cell phones back in the 70s, nor did we have computers or anything else. It was a one at a time. The way that we shipped books was different. The way we got them printed, everything was different. Nowadays, everything can be done faster and better through technology. And anasaktasya vishayanya tarham upayunjita nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagya mujite. It's there for us to use specifically. Otherwise, all these things are a total waste of time. And now, through organization, using the power of, for instance, one little smartphone, you can run an airline off of this thing. You could actually conquer the world sitting in your room with one cell phone if you knew how to use it properly. What to speak of spread the Krishna consciousness movement from your room or your apartment or your tent or whatever. If you live under a bridge, even, doesn't matter. It can be done. Thank you, Maharaj, for your advocacy. It is the vibration coming from great souls and coming from you specifically that moves us. May we show you a map? We want to show you a map because we've found that the map happens to inspire devotees to exceed their normal expectations, something that they can shoot for. And yeah, somebody share the screen and show me the map, please. So I was thinking the other day when I was walking past the basketball courts in my local park that I walk through twice a day. And I was just watching people throw the ball through the hoop again and again and again and again. Then I walked past the soccer field and they were kicking the ball into the net again and again and again. And I was thinking how it's the propensity of human beings to look at a goal and then become obsessed with hitting it. That's all we do, actually. And to have these, Shamahini, are you going to share the screen? Somebody? There it is. Then once we have something to shoot for, we become focused on it. You can't hit a goal you can't see. You can't improve something you don't measure. Yes, Nitai Prabhu, Japan, 501. It's right over here. This is a look at where we are right now. We have pledges for 737,750. 737,750. And we'd like to smash this 2 million goal, please, everyone. And if you take a look, we've only got a few little places listed on this map. Everybody's home can light up. Anyone who has a center, all you have to do is make a goal. And the goal must be at least more than 0 to be effective, and not less than 1. And as soon as you decide on a goal that's not less than 1 and more than 0, then the energy will start to move. And just look at this map. It's inspiring, isn't it? Here, what this represents is devotees have made a decision. They've calculated, they've organized, they've made consensus among themselves that we are going to do this many books, at least. They always put at least in front. And because of that, now we're trending towards 2 million books, and we're going to smash this to pieces all over the world together as one team. Maharaj, how do you like looking at this map? Could you give us your impressions, or just say more what you think of this?
It's an extraordinary achievement, which is going to simply increase.
Haribo, from your lips to the Lord's ears. Hare Krishna. So we see a lot of wide open space there. I don't know what's going on in Siberia, but Siberia can do books. I don't know. There's a lot of space to cover. So feel free, everyone, to use your advocacy, to use the vibration of your voices to not only offer books to people on the outside, but to encourage our brethren around the world to participate in this Sankirtan movement. There's no move in movement without a measurable goal, the going for Sankirtan. Book distribution just happens to be the most measurable of all our activities. I mean, it's the easiest thing to count. Number of pages you read, you can just turn a page and you say, okay, I just read another page. A book you distribute, it's either there or it's not there. When you go out with 20 books in your bag and you come back empty, you know you did 20 books. We can measure this, therefore we can increase it. And the numbers really don't matter that much. It's what we put into it that matters, because it can always increase and we can always do more. We can continue to add zeros onto the end of this number, and it will still be insignificant. But what counts is us increasing our capacity and the way that we work together and use every iota of facility we've been given in order to spread the Sankirtan movement. Om Tat Sat. Thank you so much for sharing the map. And Maharaj, thank you for looking at it. Just by your looking at it, I know it's going to increase. Hare Krishna. I want to call, and now Maharaj, also as usual, if you could stay as long as you want. If you have other engagements you have to go to, please don't feel locked in place, okay?
All right, just give me what comes next. What will I do have to go, but what will I be missing so I can meditate on?
Well, you're going to hear from homegrown leaders from all over Australia and New Zealand now. I'm going to call on Ganesham Govinda from Australia to speak about what's going on down there. And Bhava Sandhi is going to speak from New Zealand, Ananta Garanga, Nitai Prabhu, the extraordinary leader from Japan, is sitting in Tulsi room right now upstairs in the Tokyo temple. And he's going to say a few words also in a minute or two about what's going on in Japan. Something wonderful is happening there. So, Maharaj, with your permission, may we have Ganesham Govinda?
Yes, let's hear from him.
Ganesham Prabhu, please tell us, how are things going, and what kind of organizational and specific ideas do you have that you'd like to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj, for giving us this opportunity to participate in this wonderful Prabhupada's book distribution marathon. Ever since we met last time, we managed to get the list of all temples and centers and their respective Sankirtan leaders in Australia. So I think that's a big achievement in itself. And for this marathon, we have a combined target of all the temples and centers, 10 in all, 12,325 Gitas. I'm just going to quickly go through how each temple is doing based on the updates I received from them. And I'll touch on some of the different styles of book distribution, which devotees have been doing here. So I have Brisbane targeting to distribute 1,000 Gitas, of which they have so far distributed 661 Gitas. And they have a range of different methods which they found effective. Methods ranging from doing online book distribution, joining WhatsApp group, sending out information to people that way. Street Sankirtan, they do Harinams as well. And good news is they've got a very vibrant, expanding team now. So they have close to a dozen devotees who are participating in book distribution. The team is actually led by Chaitanya Gangeshwar Prabhu. In Adelaide, we have Abhiram Nityananda Prabhu leading the book distribution. Book distribution is primarily happening through bookshops. In Sydney, we have two different teams that's actually having their own respective targets. In all, we are targeting to go past 5,000 books, Gitas especially. We have crossed 4,500 so far. Our congregation, they are primarily doing in the temple streets as well as setting up book tables. The congregation book distribution team is led by a few devotees, Nanda Gokul Prabhu, Mathura Gokul Mataji, Vrajavanatha Mataji, Krishna Priya Mataji and team. So that's going really good. So we have different teams actually setting up book tables in different locations. Celebration of festivals helped definitely. Gita Jayanti, Damodar month, we are currently having the Gita Yagya, so that's also attracting a lot of people. And we have our traveling Sankirtan team called Happy Jiva, that's made of brahmacharis. So they have been traveling in the regional side, the countryside of New South Wales, the state where we are in. And they have been very effective in not only distributing books, but also in arranging different programs. We took inspiration from His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj. So he instructed us that we shoot videos of people taking books, narrating their own experiences. So we were able to get about maybe little more than a dozen videos of people after having received a set of books from one of our traveling Sankirtan members narrating it. Now, the good thing about these videos is once we distribute books in a certain home, we then go to the neighbor, we just play the video, and that's all we had to do. And the video just sell books for itself, actually by itself rather. So this way we were able to arrange a lot of programs. So far we have done many home programs as well. So getting into the first home was always difficult, but once we got in there, we distribute books there, we teach them how to chant, we have a short kirtan program, and then people are also interested to know more about what we do, about our travels and everything. So that is actually very effective. So far we have done close to 15, 16 home programs, as well as some yoga studio kirtan programs as well. So this technique of taking photos of people holding books or even shooting small clips, 10 seconds long, of people narrating their experiences, what they actually look forward to actually see, it's very, very effective. And many times I remember I also try to join the team as much as possible, at least 4 or 5 days a week. I remember one day I actually counted the amount of effort I had to put exerting myself to actually talk. It's considerably reduced. And one day I actually calculated almost 30-40% of the homes I just had to show the video to distribute books. I didn't have to speak a word, nothing. I just tell them you have something which your neighbor wants to tell you. I just to show it, and then the neighbor says in the video that this is going to be a great read, and this is what I was actually looking for. So then I tell them, I heard this place is actually full of wise people. They say yeah, of course, and they just take it. People are very simple, so that is very effective. People not only now allow us to come to their homes and do programs, They're also joining our online courses. So we recently started a Bhagavatam classes online. We started Japa meditation session for them online. We are starting a yoga. One Mataji from Nandagokul Prabhu's group, she's going to start the yoga classes. So that way it's also expanding. I just wanted to share that it's a simple technique, but very, very effective technique. People also, this is also one thing, when people come to Facebook, when they see either their photos posted or when they see any of their friends' photos or videos posted, they contact us also. So it has multiple positive ramifications. So it's a effective technique, works like a charm. So I'm requesting all the other temples to try following in their own yatras. Melbourne, unfortunately this year they had to go through a lot of lockdown. They have so far distributed 1,100 Gitas, primarily through streets distribution, as well as setting up book tables, setting up outside the grocery stores. Last year they had a tremendous Prabhupada's marathon. I think they distributed something like 20,000 books. Gopal Vrindesh can correct me. So it's potential is such a huge scale, and they have a lot of congregation devotees also participating. With the lockdown situation relaxing, and most of the Australia is like 70 to 80% normal, we can definitely look forward for Melbourne smashing all the records next year. Bhakti Center in Gold Coast, they set themselves a target of distributing 500 Gitas. They have distributed 430 so far. First time they are participating in the marathon. And 80% of that they did through either online or Harinams. So Harinam is also another great way for congregation devotees to go together. And Harinam itself attracts people, and it's a very easy way to just pass some piece of prasad and then ask people to take a book. It has always worked very well. Radha Partha Sarathi Ashram in Sydney, they have distributed 115 Gitas so far, primarily through online book distribution and any personal connections. So they distribute to one family and ask them to introduce their friends. Likewise, they have expanded the network. And finally, we have the New Temple community in Sydney, Hare Krishna community and culture center. So they have distributed 1,112 Gitas so far, all through Shastradana. And they have also been doing home programs, and whichever home program they go, they distribute books that's been sponsored. So that's what we have now. From the messages we received from different temples, definitely we are looking to go past our target of 12,325 Gitas. I'm hoping we'll definitely or easily go past 15,000. So that's pretty much what we have here in Australia.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Can you tell us a little bit more about the way that you deliver the testimonial videos? For instance, tell us when you walk up to the door, what's the interaction like? The more specific and the more details you give, the more it can spread.
Absolutely. I can even share the videos. It's there.
Yes.
For those of you who are interested, you can go to our Facebook page called the Happy Jiva. And we have, if you go to the video section, you will see all our videos there. Those of you who have access to internet, you can even look at it now. So basically what we do, we knock on the door, we do the presentation, we give the books to them, and we tell them we are a group of monks traveling from Sydney, and we are just stopping over here for a week. So then they take the books, give the donation, and then we also ask them if this is something that you were really looking for, if you like to share a message that would help support our cause, that would be very appreciative. Then depending on the mood, many people, they oblige, and then we shoot the videos. So the videos would go something like, I heard a knock on my door. I opened, and there I saw this beautiful monk standing there with the ponytail, and they presented these books. And many people, they say, I just took all this range of books. Of course, it's a lot to read. I'm going to give one to each one of my friends. Some would say something like that. Or some would say how they have been looking forward to do something spiritual in their life, and these books couldn't have come at a better time like that. So if we keep the videos very short and we tell them, be very specific, what these books mean to you, what what do you expect to actually get out of these books, whether you recommend these ones or not to others, basically. One thing we have found when we started to do this is, as soon as people start to speak in videos, everyone wants whatever team that they are part of, they want that to be winning. So many people, they go out of their ways to promote other things also. Like, they tell people that we are inviting the monks to come and do a home program in our home. Some they say we just got beads here. Some they say we went online and we bought some books, like that. So, but the initial presentation, the golden rule, as long as we leave a good impression, when we distribute the books, after the transaction finishes, then when we make that request to them, we are surprised how many people actually oblige for that request. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for giving us that wonderful idea. It's
I think Vaisesika Prabhu was also asking, okay, you got the video clip. Now you go to the next house. What do you do?
okay. So then I knock on the door and then I tell them, like, if I don't know if I'm in my lazy mood, I just tell them I have a video to show you. I just to show them straight away. Your neighbor has got something to tell you. That arouses their curiosity. And when they look at it, and this first thing they ask is either what's the catch, or they say how much. Many times it just works like that. Videos just sell the books themselves. Or sometimes I make a presentation as part of the presentation. I tell them, we have also got some of your neighbors who are promoting this. Would you like to take a look at the video? Definitely they are curious, and that's how I show them.
I think everyone will have to increase their pledge now by 30%, having received this information. With your permission, Mars, we'd like to show one video from that website. We're ready to share it. So just to get a taste, so because everyone can see, hear how effective this is, we're going to blow this up all over the world right now and get everyone in on this video program. And here's what it looks like.
All right, so I found myself at a friend's place on Saturday afternoon, and he mentioned that he had been visited by some monks, and we talked about this in a little bit of detail, and he mentioned Hare Krishna monks, which fascinates me, as I have previously looked into the Krishna consciousness, and I think it's a very wonderful thing. And yeah, so I reached out to the Happy Jiva, found them on Facebook, and I think what they're doing is absolutely wonderful, and I thought I would reach out and try and learn a few things from them. Yeah.
Haribol.
Haribol.
So you'd show like on your iPhone, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Or Android. I don't want to be partial. Yeah, on one of those devices, you just say, here, to have a look at this. You actually hand them the phone and have them hold it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And some instances, actually, this guy, William, the one which we just saw, when we went there, we had actually left the phone in the car in Holiness, but we used his own mobile to shoot a video and asked him to send it to us. So that's how he had sent it. So people, they definitely go out of their way to
This is fantastic. This is a huge breakthrough. This is 30% increase now instantly for the world. We like to get this going everywhere. Thank you for your presentation, Ganesham Govinda. As usual, stellar, absolutely stellar leadership. Thank you. And Marj, if you permit and think it's a good idea, we're going to ask Baba Sundhi from New Zealand to present now.
Definitely.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Please let my humble obeisances all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
So enlivening to see and hear from them. Thank you so much. Yeah, so in New Zealand, we have a target of around 9,500 Bhagavad Gitas for the Gita part of our marathon. That's divided mainly in between Auckland. We have a few different centres in Auckland. We have the temple, we have the brahmacharis. They're on travelling book distribution, and they're doing stacks, so they're focusing on a kind of combination of books this year. and then we have some Namahat groups and the Loft Yoga Preaching Center. So that's up in Auckland. So it's nice, especially because Devamrita Maharaj, he gave a little inspiration for our marathon this year, which was everybody make their contribution no matter what. So obviously we have the full-time book distributors that really go hard this time of year, but then also really kind of spreading the net, so encouraging everybody, no matter what their service normally, to be engaged in book distribution somehow. So it's been really exciting. We've had lots of people kind of coming out of places that you wouldn't think of. We had, the Hare Krishna school bus driver come and ask for stacks of books for himself to distribute. We have the pot washers in the kitchen came up to me the other day and asked for 100 books that he wanted to start book distribution again. So devotees, no matter what their usual service, are becoming really inspired in book distribution. Then we have the Namahat groups. They've been encouraging everybody to take stacks of Bhagavad Gitas and kind of work out different ways how they're going to distribute those. So we had Nanda Raj Prabhu, he's from one of the South Auckland Namahat. He distributed 100 Bhagavad Gitas the other day to a Hindu society. So then the Hindu society has bought those and they'll be distributing from Gita Jayanti, which is pretty cool. And then, they had a lot of success with Kartik programs. And again, it's just really nice that devotees that don't usually go on book distribution are inspired in that way and then have the books. So one devotee was explaining to me how, she doesn't normally have books. And one time she was in a supermarket and somebody said, "Oh, are you a Hare Krishna?" And she said, "Yeah." And they said to her, do you have any of those books?" And she didn't. And so she was like, "Oh, no, sorry." And she felt so bad. And then she was saying how after this project kind of took off where everyone makes their contribution, she had some books in her car and she opened the boot of her car and there was a box of books there, and a lady walking past saw a Krishna book in there. And she was like, "Oh, wow, are you selling those? Can I have one?" She said, I had this book in my house and somebody came around and they really wanted it, so they took it. And so I got another one of these Krishna books and a guest came to the house and they really wanted it, so they took it. And so she'd been looking to buy another one. And this devotee was just sharing how, if she hadn't have been prepared with those books, then, she wouldn't have had that opportunity. So one of the laws of book distribution is we need books. So now there's a lot of devotees out there with books that didn't have them before. So when you're ready, then Lord Chaitanya can use you as an instrument. So, that's really nice. And then, so we've been selling stacks of Bhagavad Gitas at the temple as well to guests for them to distribute to their friends and family and well. So just congregation members as well, turning into book distributors. And then of course we have the Bhakti Lounge team from Wellington, and I haven't got the actual schools, how they're doing so far, but they've got a lot of traveling Sankirtans out there, and so they're traveling both the North and the South Island. They're doing occasional programs and they're doing a lot of book tables. They've been having a lot of success with book tables, and basically I've heard that everybody's Gita goals are going well, and some people have already reached that goal. Unfortunately, we can't really expand on our goals very much here because we only do book orders a couple of times a year. So it was inspiring that there are so many devotees now that want to increase on book distribution. So we have to up our game and become more organized for planning ahead and making sure that we always have enough books. And that's about all from New Zealand at the moment.
Jai, thank you very much. Amazing. That was a really good summary of what everybody's doing. I really liked how you kept saying stacks, stacks, stacks. And this is such an important principle that you're putting them all together, because if whatever you can sell one of, you can sell bunches of. Always sell in bunches like bananas. You're doing that so well, and you've always been leading the charge on that, doing sets back before anybody knew about it, and New Zealand, rocking the world. Amazing. Thank you. And it sounds like there's a lot of room for expansion too. Does it seem like that to you? Like there's a kind of momentum that's kicking in right now. More and more devotees getting involved, and there's an energy sweeping
Yeah,
through.
definitely.
Very powerful, right?
Yeah.
Anything can happen. Wow. Well done. Thank you very much. Bravissimo. Hare Krishna. And now we bring you to Japan. Japan is poised for their marathon. They're in a few days. They'll be getting a brand new Bhagavad Gita there. And we happen to have the good fortune of having the Sankirtan leader and great general, champion of book distribution in Japan for so many years, my dear friend Nitai Prabhu.
Haribo!
Hare Krishna.
Jai Devamrita Maharaj. Bye bye, Vaisesika Prabhu ki. Jai. Hare Krishna. So, thank you so much. Nice conversation. And I joined the Harinama Sankirtan, then my purification. So, our goal is 私たちのゴールは500冊です。
So our goal for Japan is 501.
で、今200冊終わりました。
So we are around 200 are already distributed.
今日は、入門式もあります。
So today we have one initiation also going on in temple.
Auspicious thing.
Very auspicious thing.
で、私たちのサンキュータンのスタイルは、いろいろ言うと、Amazon とショップ、それからドアトゥドア、それから電話、それからハリナマ、そして仏教のお寺です。
So how we are distributing the books in Japan is like we have Bhagavad Gita on Amazon, so that is one of the way. Then we are doing door to door, we are doing shop to shop, we are distributing in yoga studios, and we are also like Nitai Prabhu also travels to the Buddhist temples, and there he is distributing the books.
で、名古屋ではオーガニックショップのお店の本棚に置いてます。
So in one of the city, Nagoya, which is 3 hours from Tokyo, in an organic shop, we have kept our books also.
で、あとはオリジナルの大体駅の前で本を配ります。
And also we are doing the book distribution, like on the street, mostly in front of the stations.
で、今回初めて本配りする人たちが、20人ぐらいいますけど、で、沖縄、大阪、博多、名古屋、東京、埼玉です。
So this year we have around 20 new devotees who are helping to meet this goal, and we are working in different cities like Tokyo, Nagoya, Hataka, Okinawa, Nagano. So all these places, devotees will be distributing books.
で、みんな道で一緒に今まで何ヶ月か配ったこと、それからあと皆さんはそれぞれ自分の友達とか、それから家族とか、それからなんかお店行って配るそうです。
So we have different new ways of doing. So devotees are involving their friends, their family, and also they are going to different shops to gift or sell the books.
で、プラパダのマラソンのその波に乗ってみんなでこう張り切って本配りをやるスタートが今日です。この子たちは。
So we everybody, all the devotees in Japan, they want to ride on the wave of Srila Prabhupada's marathon to distribute the books.
はい。シラプラパダケイ。
じゃあ、
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nitai Prabhu. And Ananta Gauranga Prabhu, would you like to
Yeah.
say a few words?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj, Hare Krishna everyone. So thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. So we have we are also doing weekly meetings with all the cities in Japan just to track the progress. And we also have started new ways, like we are doing online Bhagavad Gita classes, Japa. And we also have Madhu Mangal Prabhu is doing yoga studios programs where he's teaching Bhagavad Gita. So that is one of the way of distribution. And we also have established small calling parties to call the Japanese yoga studios and to see if they are interested. And we are also trying to contact the restaurants and keeping the books on display there. We'll be trying for the Japanese restaurants. And now in Japan, like over the year end, there is generally people gift something to you whenever we meet. So like, for example, we went to fill up the gasoline yesterday. So if you go to fill up the gasoline, they will give you some tissue box or some gift. So we take that occasion, and devotees are gifting Bhagavad Gita as a return gift from us. And so this type of new ways devotees are trying to find out and trying to involve more and more devotees from all over Japan to meet this target. And we need everyone's blessings and Ashirwad so that we can meet this goal. Thank you very much, Vaisesika Prabhu. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna. Thank you, Nitai
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu. Thank you very much, Ananta Gauranga. I think that you'll at least double your goal.
Try.
Yeah, because Japanese books is only 250. So we're waiting next books.
Hi.
Hi.
Raishu.
24th.
Hi.
Gambarimasu.
I know.
Haribol. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
everyone for the Japan Yatra. Hare Krishna. Haribol. Nitai and Ananta. Gaur Premanande. Haribol.
Vaisesika Prabhu ki jai.
Ooh. Now, guess what? We got our leader from Philippines. ¿Cómo está acá? Radhacharan Prabhu, please tell us how things are going in the Philippines. What's everybody thinking there? What's your goal? How's the World Gita Day plan going for you? Magandang gabi. Radhacharan Prabhu, are you there? Okay. Well, we're waiting for Hare Krishna. There he is.
Okay, Hare Krishna, my dear
Haribol
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Good to see you from the Philippines.
Good to see you. Please accept my humble obeisances, my dear Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, here in the Philippines, we just recently revived the Sankirtan movement. Just starting when the pandemic arose. Then surprisingly, everyone from the temple and other congregation are on board and distributing Srila Prabhupada books. And now we just had an inventory, and all the Bhagavad Gita are what we have, or we are pledging to distribute this Prabhupada marathon. We are currently having classes, and it is free. And for them to really relish the classes, everyday classes, Bhagavad Gita classes, they will have to buy bundles of books included, which includes Bhagavad Gita. So that's the scheme, what we're doing now here in the Philippines. I'll show you some bundles of books.
Okay. Is Philippines on our map?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay.
So this is the bundles of books, and included here are the Bhagavad Gitas. So we're pledging now 550 Bhagavad Gitas for the month of marathon.
Haribo. Prabhu, are you doing mostly through the classes? And how are all the devotees during this pandemic? Everyone locked down there, or what's the situation?
Yes, I am currently doing and serving the courses online. Most of the time we have six times a week classes, and mostly 2 times a day. And our dear Girdhara Swami Maharaj, who stays here during the pandemic, now in pandemic, is also spearheading the Sankirtan movement. And we have cultivated just for the past 3 months more than 25 new devotees, and they're engaged also in distributing Srila Prabhupada books now.
Wow. Wow, what a great report, and good to see you. Salamat po. And please
Salamat.
give our Sahasra Koti Dandavats to Girdhari Maharaj and to all the devotees there in the Philippines. And please stay in touch. Anything we can all do for you, we're all one team, all for one and one for all. And you're doing a major service there. So thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you very much.
Gaur Premanande Haribol, Hare Krishna. So now we have this other aspect of our marathon this year is that there's an international broadcast that'll be taking place by Zoom. Did anybody happen to see the broadcast for the Bhadra Purnima? Did any of you there in Australia, Philippines, New Zealand see the broadcast? Did anybody in the universe see it? Balaram saw it. Well, we had a broadcast during the Bhadra Purnima, and it was seen by thousands of people around the world. It culminated in a fire yajna at a Hobilam. And this year we're having a special program for World Gita Day, which is 25th. By the way, that's Gita Jayanti, but it's best called World Gita Day so people can understand it around the world. And we'll this year be moving from one time zone to the next, and each one of the regions will put on some presentation to glorify the Bhagavad Gita in creative ways. There's also a contest who has the most creative methods of glorifying the Bhagavad Gita. And we'll move from New Zealand, Australia to Japan, and then all the way across the globe. And it will culminate in a Mahafire Yajna at Kurukshetra, presided over by His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. And let's see, Shamahini, do you have anything more you want to say about that? Or any requests from anybody?
No, Prabhu, just for devotees to follow us on social media so that we can make World Gita Day famous and aware, devotees aware of the World Gita Day. I'm posting the social media. Yeah.
When you see it on social media, share it, like it, pass it on to other people. We need to all work together. That's how this big world team works. The global team works. Everyone does a little bit. All you have to do is hit the like button. Anything you see that has to do with the marathon anywhere, like it, share it, move it around, do your part, because we're all one team. We're all going towards smashing this 2 million goal. And then we can celebrate that and consolidate all our victories, find out where we missed, and we'll make more and more improvements until we fulfill Devamrita Swami Maharaj's prediction that we will cause a pandemic of Krishna consciousness all over the world. Does that sound like a good idea? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being sounding like the best thing you ever heard, and 1 sounding like it's really boring and you'd like to be somewhere else. Rather have a Vegemite sandwich at this point. 10. A lot of 10s coming in. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Now let's just see if there's any questions. So we have a couple of minutes left. And wow, Toronto is going in for a trillion book, trillion Gitas. That's pretty good, Jessica. Let's see if you have questions. And also feel free to open your cameras too. We don't mind. Pajamas are okay. Whatever you got, it's all right. Just we want to see the devotees. What questions or comments or more things you'd like to add? Sharing means caring.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I hear a
Hare
voice.
Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Any chance we could get that image of the map so we can send it to the people who have already donated or distributed books to inspire them to their friends?
What an excellent idea. Yes. Where can they get it, Shamahini or Anukul Seva?
Maharaj, the map will be updated on prabhupadmarathon.com. The latest version will always be there, and this one's just going up after this program. So on prabhupadmarathon.com, you can find the latest updates.
We update it regularly as the pledges pour in. We'll be getting, they'll be changing, so you can check on it regularly. Yeah, it is really nice to show people. Please go ahead.
I also wanted to add, in case it was missed, that we will be offering all the names of people who participated in the Live to Give campaign during the Yagya. So that's something you can use to inspire devotees, people to join in the campaign, and also to tell people who've already participated that their names will be offered. The names will also be scrolled on the screen during the broadcast, so they will feel inspired to watch their names.
It's a big deal. You could tell people, when they help with the campaign, they're going to be seen all over the world. Their names can be mentioned at the Yagya. And there's Dale Carnegie once said, there's the sweetest sound in any language to any person is the sound of his or her own voice, his or her own name. So include people and let them feel part of the Sankirtan movement. Yes, please, there's more. Who else would like to comment or ask a question?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
I couldn't help but notice that Pakistan had 13,500 pledges. I was really amazed by seeing that. Really inspiring to see how they're going to distribute in that country.
Who has 13,000?
The country, Pakistan.
Pakistan's really fired up. Tell about Pakistan. Can we tell about Pakistan? Is it okay or not?
Yes, Prabhu.
We can talk about it. Okay, some countries we don't put on the map because we can't talk about them because they can get in big trouble. But why don't you talk about the very unusual devotee that's in Pakistan who's really fired up in doing book distribution?
Yes, Prabhu. So Shamananda Krishna Prabhu, he is a very inspired, and he wants to, he wrote to us that he wanted to be a part of the Live to Give campaign. And they have no Sindhi, Bhagavad Gita, Sindhi and Urdu was not there. So they actually started a BBT division there and got those books printed, and they're distributing those books. And they had a goal of 15,000 books during the marathon, of which 13,500 are the Bhagavad Gitas. So that's what's on the pledge.
So we're all connected. Even Pakistan is going big. There's nooks and corners all over the world right now. And when we have this global connection and measurement and sharing of best practices and, smartphones and all the technology we have right now, I guarantee you we can do much bigger, and incrementally we can increase every single year working together. Pakistan ki jai.
Prabhu,
What
can
other
I-
things, observations, or yes?
One more thing I wanted to add is that I'm sure everybody's feeling very inspired after the Super Saturday/Sunday program. Till leading up to the end of the marathon, we have such programs every weekend. So if it fits your time zone, you can join them live. They're mostly at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. And you can also, if you can't watch them live, please, you can watch the recording on the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust Facebook page or YouTube channel. I just wanted to add that there's plenty of inspiration. Please jump up and catch it. Thank you.
LDD is asking, is there any chance we may be able to get a link for that lecture by His Holiness Devamrita Swami, asking every congregation member to get a set of books so dishwashers and everyone get a set? Which lecture is that?
Bhava Sandhi was referring to it. So if she's on, please jump up and catch it. Thank you. Bhava Sandhi?
LDD is asking, is there any chance?
Sorry, that was from, we've had a group of devotees putting together some podcasts, and I'll try and get that for you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're winding down to the last couple of minutes here. Let's just see if anybody else wants to add something or thinks they have a question to ask that will expand the conversation, and we can squeeze more out for the marathon. Any other points, Bhava Sandhi, Mataji?
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. Well,
quick. I have one thing to add, Prabhu. Can you hear me?
Please. Yes.
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We hear you.
Yeah. So.
Oh, it's Bali.
Yes. Sorry, Prabhu. Mine.
Krishna.
Do you know how do we record the scores for different temple in India or other places? Because I know 3 or 4 temples, those name was not there. So which link I can send so they can update their number counts?
Sure, Prabhu. So today we didn't show the India map. It was just the world map. But PrabhupadaMarathon.com, that's where all the centers can register their pledges. And we will be sending a live form to track scores to all the registered centers. So the first step for any center is to sign up with a pledge on PrabhupadaMarathon.com.
PrabhupadaMarathon.com. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Thank you.
Okay, everybody. If you were thinking about distributing one book, then at least do 2. If you were going to do 10, please do 20. If you're thinking about 10,000, please think about 20,000. If you're thinking about 100,000, please go for 200,000. Everything counts. Every single book, and make sure you report the score, because we're one team and it all counts. And it doesn't matter how small it is. Please add it in and invite as many people as possible to participate. And they will benefit, and the world will benefit from this in ways that will be clearly evident to everybody. We thank everybody for taking their time to join us. I think it was an historic event. We had a cross-section of devotees from that side of the world, from Oceania, and then we had Philippines tonight, which was that was new. We had Japan, which was new. Thank you very much, Radhacharan Prabhu, and thank you, Nitai, and thank you, Ananta Gauranga, for joining us, and especially to all the leaders who are losing sleep over this. Thank you. You will get your fruit from Lord Chaitanya personally. So, dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you so desire, please empower our global team to smash the goal of at least distributing at least 2 million Bhagavad Gitas during the Prabhupada Marathon this year, 2020. That's us here down on earth. Please consider. And please help us to grow bigger and bigger together and spread this all over the world. Thank you for considering our request. Everyone who agrees with the sentiments of this prayer in part or in whole, please unmute and say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol, Hare
Hare
Bol.
Krishna.
Hare
Haribo. Haribo.
Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Do
Jai.
big. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.